and also very curious to know more about what it means to be a social entrepreneur. As students that will soon be grown up adults and possibly be able to put in action our own initiative, we would be very grateful to have some insight from you regarding what it means to start a business, how to deal with failure and success, and any practical advice that you can share with all of us.
Firstly, thank you so much for this opportunity. I am honored to be with you all today, and I can see some faces, so thank you whoever opened their camera. I can see your faces, and I feel better seeing people's faces. So it's a beautiful day outside, and it's a beautiful day now watching and talking to all of you. As for the question, how does it feel to be a social entrepreneur? Seriously, it feels magnificent. Not only can I have my business, but I can also do something good in the world with my business. So it's a win-win situation. I get to have my business, I get to make money, but at the same time, part of the money goes to support a sustainable goal or project. So I'm very, I won't say lucky. I'm very blessed to be able to have both together, because for a long time I only had a business, and the social side was completely not integrated. So the business completely was all about business and money making and all of that. And then I had Alnowair, which was an NGO, and it was, was founded to support the positive mental well-being of the inhabitants of Kuwait. So with my new businesses, I've been able to make a business that actually pays back to the community, but more long-term. So that's for the first question about what it feels to be a social entrepreneur. And as for Alnowair, for anyone who doesn't know what Alnowair is, Alnowair is a non-governmental, well, it's a non-profit company, because in Kuwait that works, that focuses on using impact. Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's all perfect.
Okay, because I got a connection. It said anyway. So at Alnowair, what we do is we use research-based or research in positive psychology and successes in positive psychology, and we use and we make them as tools, engaging tools, mostly exercises or engaging tools, and we give them to the public to use to improve their life. And that started in 2013. 2015 started looking at how to use positive psychology in schools. So we started a pilot study in 3 schools in Kuwait, public schools in Kuwait, and we're currently in 47 high schools with 11,600 students being taught by the teachers that we train. We have about 470 teachers. We also started from Bariq. So Alnowair is the umbrella of the other initiatives we do. So we started with Alnowair, then we had Bariq, and then we had Boomerang, and Boomerang is an initiative that works with private schools in Kuwait. We use applied theater to have social behavioral change, and precisely in the field or in the unfortunate domain or behavior of bullying. So we use applied theater to reverse bullying into kindness. And I think we worked, we worked in Bayan, and I always love the feedback we got from Bayan and the shift and changes with the students. And our latest, we're now using positive mindset or positive psychology to in the environment. So we're looking at how to do social behavioral change in the environment. So people work with environment differently. So what we do a lot of little small things that nudge people to change the way they work or they behave. And that's what Unaware is.
Okay, so thank you very much. We'll leave you off with Lula right now.
Okay, thank you, Your Highness. And now we'll be starting the Q&A. To ask a question, please use the raise your hand icon, and we'll then give you permission to unmute or send a question via the chat. Would anyone like to ask a question? Yes, Ahmad, you may unmute yourself.
Thank you, Your Highness, for this amazing presentation. My question for you is, what are your insights on how we can enhance the youth's participation in Kuwait's economy?
So I don't know your name. I'm not saying your name. So
Ahmad.
thank you. Okay. The way to enhance youth's participation in not only the economy, but in any aspect of Kuwait is when they feel they are of value. Anything, when they give something, there is a value to it. So listening to them for sure is one way, acknowledging them is another, and also encouraging them is another. And since the pandemic, what I've realized is there is more engagement. More and more people realize that they have a lot of spare time on their hands and they want to do something. And there's a lot of volunteer groups happening, a lot of volunteer groups expanding the way they work, and also online and offline. So not only for the youth, I think I believe if you want to get any citizen or inhabitant of a country to be engaged, you have to give them a way to voice what they want to do and what they feel, and also make the my mind's lost for words, to start an NGO or a small initiative, make it easy. And now it's very easy in Kuwait. It used to be very hard before. It's very easy now. You just go register as a volunteering society and it's immediate. So that's a good thing. So the more people are engaged, the more people will do things in their country. And it's a snowball effect. So perhaps I will give you that. You want to get more youth involved, you engage them, you talk to them, you give them things to do. The more they get assignments, I'll call them assignments because I can't think of a better word. The more they get assignments or help from their peer, the more they'll be able to engage on a different level.
Thank you.
Ms. Laura has a question. She wrote down a question in the chat. How do you deal with challenges to the validity of a program like Alnowair?
Okay. One thing I realized about me, I love puzzles. Does any one of you like puzzles? Yeah? I love puzzles. I don't like mind puzzles. No, that's not my domain. I love just puzzles. And for me, what I've realized is like, and all you have to do is find the right piece that goes in the right place. And if you get the wrong piece, no matter how much you try to fit it in, it will not go in. So the best way is just to stop pushing that piece and get one that fits. So I consider all challenges a learning opportunity, a puzzle, and an enhancement of my mental ability. So I love challenges. And so whenever there's a challenge, it's like, yes, I love it, I'm going to go for it. So the best way to handle a challenge is to actually love it and to know that these challenges grow you. And if you don't succeed solving the challenge right now, try again. It might be you haven't found the right piece. So consider challenge as a brain stimulation, as a passion stimulation, as a way that wakes you up in the morning. And I mean, there are many reasons why people don't like challenges, but the predominant one is they don't like failing. I don't consider it failing. I consider it I'm learning something new. I'm connecting the dots, because I'll get a challenge here. And then within a very short time, I realize what I learned here is resolving this here. So the more one is able to embrace the knowledge that is given through new experiences, and challenges are new experiences, new ways of thinking, new ways of resolving an issue, the more I'll speak about myself, the more self-esteem I had to be able to resolve more challenges and to grow with the challenges, because challenges are there to grow us. Nothing is worse than a life with no challenges, where you know everything that's going to happen, everything's predictable. I would be bored to death. So consider challenges as a way that keeps you alive and buzzing.
Thank you. Does anyone have any other questions?
Yeah, actually, I have
Aziz?
my own. So, what motivated you to pursue a project such as Alnowair?
I'm crazy. I literally am. And when I say I'm crazy, it's because when people call me crazy, I don't get offended at all. And when I started Nuwair, when I actually thought of Nuwair, I knew it was going to be, by some people, considered something, funny and not real and not serious. And I took on that challenge because to me it was real, serious, and it can be transformative. So if anyone wants to do anything in life, if they don't have the strong belief in what they do, then they will believe what people tell them. So yeah, I think one of the biggest attributes I have is I don't mind being called crazy. And I am, because to speak about positivity 8 years ago was crazy. Everyone was telling me, a lot of people are saying, oh, but you're not realistic, you should be more realistic. And I couldn't understand what they meant until they explained it. And I'm thinking, but that's pessimistic, that's not realistic. No, but this is real. I said, well, I see things from a different angle. And that's when I discovered positive psychology, and I decided, no, I want to bring this to Kuwait, and I want to bring it in a different way. And so we use a very creative medium to inspire people to have a more positive mindset. So the answer to your question is, what inspired me is the fact I have the courage to be crazy.
Okay, so Umar Al-Harun has a question. You may unmute.
Assalamu alaikum, Umar Al-Harun. I have a question and then a follow-up question. So my question is, starting like a very new thing, which many people find weird or new and are not used to in 2013, I think that follows positivity. You might face a lot of challenges and failures. So my first question is, how did you deal with those failures or challenges? And the follow-up question is, how did it feel to win the Arab Woman of the Year award after facing all of these failures?
Just let me, Umar, thank you so much. One can consider them failure, or I consider them lessons learned. What I've realized throughout my years, and believe me, I'm 56. I've learned a lot of lessons throughout the years, personal level and on a business level and on an emotional level, on all levels. If one considers these lessons and they're growing. It's like, mini tests that you take throughout the year at school. So if you do these mini tests, if you don't do well in the first one, you'll have to recalibrate your mind into how to pass the second one. And with this recalibration, rethinking of the way you're studying, you'll be able to pass the second. And if you're still not passing, means you're still doing something wrong. And this is not the way you should be working. So what happens when you do these challenges, or I call them lessons, is you grow your capacity to solve problems, to get the answers quicker. So consider them as lessons that will allow you to have a big pool of resources, mental resources for your future. It could be short-term future, long-term future. Just consider these lessons as a resource pool. And with that, you see, all you have to do is shift the way you think to take them from lessons that make me fail to lessons that will make me not win, make me better. And it be short or long term. So one thing I've realized about myself is I have this innate ability, and it's become very natural for me now, that when I know something's not good enough for me, I have this way of shifting the way I look at it. I'll give you an example. I keep telling myself, I don't like sweets. I don't like sweets. And actually now I don't like sweets. So if you take that as an occasion where you want to change the way you behave, say it enough times that you believe it. So on the other hand, if you keep saying to yourself, oh my God, I don't want to fail, I don't want to fail, believe me, you're setting yourself up to fail mentally before you fail in what you're doing. So I would say 3 things. Number 1, consider challenges as an amazingly interesting way to solve riddles or puzzles in life. Number 2, consider challenges as a way to grow your capacity to get the bigger picture, to have more resources, to have more information available for the next challenge that comes to you. And number 3, change the way you think of them. Keep saying to yourself, I love solving challenges. I love solving challenges. Then they are no longer obstacles. They are stepping stones to your better future.
Thank you so much for that. In the chat, Miss Alexis actually has a really good question that I'm also very curious about. So she said, like, a student in BBS has a great idea and they want to get support or funds for their idea around anything from inspiring people to help or to make positive contributions. So what is the first thing they should do?
Start small. The worst anyone can do is to start big. Because number 1, you don't have the experience to start big. You need to build the experience. You need to know what works, what doesn't work. Number 2, you don't have the resources to start big. Number 3, you don't have the energy to start big. Again, building the capacity to resolve problems or solve problems takes time. So first thing is to start very small, to see if that idea works before throwing money at it, because no matter how rich you are, how much money you throw at a project, if it's not the right project, it won't go through. If you don't know how to sustain it, it's going to be a waste of money and time and effort. So the first thing is start small, test it on different people around you, and then test it on people you don't know, because sometimes the people closest to us are the ones that least believe in us. Okay, so start with people you know, start with people you don't know. See how the idea works, tweak it until you find that now is the time I can expand it. Then you can add more resources, be it money, effort, time, people, etc.
Thank you so much. Miss Mary has a question. What was the most difficult obstacle Your Highness had to face in order to accomplish the project, and how did you manage to overcome it?
Biggest obstacle was my beliefs and my thoughts. Once I got the courage, things just started moving. So the biggest obstacle is always our belief. If you get over that first obstacle, then the second thing is their lessons. Their lessons. Again, if we consider them challenges, that's an obstacle. If we consider them opportunities to grow, opportunities to learn, that's the biggest hurdle, is changing the way we think from this has to work to, oh, let's see if this works. And if it works, I'll grow it. So the biggest challenge is always our belief, our thoughts, and our mindset. So after that, everything gets easy. Because with a better mindset, with more internal capacity to resolve problems, things are much, much easier, and one can find better and better options to the problems that they're facing in business or in whatever project they do.
Thank you. Mahmoud Al Ghanem has a really good question. How did 2020 affect your projects and yourself?
Which project? I have many projects. So let's say with Nowhere. I'll stay with Nowhere, or you want a business project?
Mahmoud, which project? He
Oh,
said.
okay. So with Nowhere, it was with Nowhere, and I have 3 NGOs that all focus on mental health in one form or the other. In all 3 of them, what we've realized is, oh my God, the world understands what we're saying now. Yay! Akhiran, people understood when we said, when you don't feel positive, you're not a contributing factor to the society. And with the COVID, when people were feeling very negative, very scared, mentally not fully functional, and I'll call it functional because with fear we become quite stationary in our thinking, in the way we work. So with COVID, a lot of people started realizing the effect of mental health, and so people just were looking, literally, they're hunting for positivity, and so that was the biggest opportunity we got, because people understood what we're saying now. And with the businesses, you just have to see, everything is an opportunity for change. And when COVID hit, in my businesses, I had 2 choices: to continue the way I was, and for sure I'm going to, fail, or change the way I work. So I decided to change the way I work. So I got together with the heads of the businesses, and we started looking at what opportunities are open, how we can adjust, how we can change. And we're still experimenting. I'm not saying we're 100% there, but we're 500% better than we started last year. And online, but one more thing we've realized, even with mental health, so even with positivity, with everything, we just went online. Yes, it makes much better sense when you're face-to-face with someone, but we don't have the opportunity to be face-to-face with people. So we went online with Nowhere, we went online with Bariq, we went online with Intisar Foundation, we went online. We were supporting people from very far distances, and it became easier with time. So now what's happened with the COVID is it's opened a whole new opportunity of seriously tackling things online, mental health problems online that was just not even thought of 2 years ago.
Thank you so much. Does anyone have any? Oh, Umar Al Harun has a question. You can unmute yourself.
Okay, so as you may know, a lot of high school students in Kuwait and all around the world, they feel a lot of stress and anxiety, and some of them even go into depression. So, as a pioneer of positivity yourself, what would you like to give them as an advice to avoid depression or sadness or what?
See, I don't know what advice I would give them. I would like to share what I do. One thing I've realized when I sit with myself and I want to be alone, it's a sign that I'm going into my mental turmoil. And so there's a lot of things I do. Oh my God, the easiest one is just to put music and jump and dance like a crazy being. It works very well from a mental aspect, but also a scientific aspect, because we hold emotions in our muscles and in our joints. And when you move, okay, you're releasing these emotions from your body. That's number one. And also music is uplifting. Okay, so music as a frequency works with your body. So I'm giving you both the scientific and the non-scientific factor. So music, if you're not feeling well, just put music and dance. Look, say nice words to yourself. Write nice things to yourself. One thing that really works with me all the time, and this is brilliant. This helps me. The other day, my daughter calls me and she was going through a mental anguish. Oh my God, I'm so scared. And I said, okay, let's do one thing. And I said to her, give me 3 things you're grateful for right now and how they feel. See, how they feel is very important, not only to say it or articulate it, but also to embody the feeling. So she said, I'm grateful I'm healthy. I said, how does it feel to be healthy? It feels really nice. And then she says, I'm grateful I have this thing. And I said, how does it feel having this thing? She goes, very nice. And then she gave me a third thing she was very grateful for. After the third, I told her, give me 2 more. By the fourth, she was fine. So she went from to much calmer. So I would actually write a journal of things that we're grateful for and embody the feeling. Jump, act crazy. Best thing in life is to act crazy. And I'll tell you from a scientific point of view why you should act crazy. Our mind, we go through different frequencies in our mind. So we have the beta, which is where we are at now, which is the working frequency, and you have the alpha, you have the theta, you have the delta, and then you have other brain frequencies. And I did a biofeedback training where we work towards increasing our alpha, and alpha is the brain wave of happiness, but also of creativity. So, when you're playing with something, like you're playing with a child, but children are in alpha most of the time anyway. When you're playing with a child or you're playing with something you really like and how that feeling is, or you're doing your hobby, or it could be anything that really brings you joy, that is alpha. And if you want to go to alpha, you should not be serious. So when we did the brain training to diminish our alpha, and this was an exercise for us to know what brings our alpha down, we did mathematical equations, we did very strong focus on things, we did very attention, we paid very, very, very focused attention to small details, and that diminishes your alpha. So if you want to grow your alpha or your happiness vibration, do the opposite. You're not studying, don't focus. Allow your mind to expand. Dance, sing, take a hobby, write a gratitude journal, do something you like. Anything that gets you out of your small mind into your bigger mind. Oh, and if you feel sorry for yourself at any time, Write down all the things that are great about you. That'll take you out of that pity party that we put ourselves into sometimes.
Amar Umhani had a question. In your opinion, is mental health overlooked in schools?
I will pose that question to you. Is mental health overlooked?
In my opinion, if I would rate mental health support out of 10, I would give it a 5.
That's good enough. Now you can help them grow it. The thing is, the good thing about COVID is everyone understands what it feels like to not feel well. And it's a universal thing. To feel really low is a universal thing now. And so we realize we all have to do something about it. We can't continue dismissing that some people don't feel well. And some people like not feeling well, and they like being depressed. But that is their choice. But that doesn't mean that we don't have an obligation to support them when they ask for support. So is mental health neglected in schools? I won't say it's neglected as much as not thought of and not prioritized. But for now, for sure, after the COVID, mental health is a priority, not only in schools, but in offices, in countries, everywhere. So I know there'll be a big shift in the way we support others mentally from now on.
Thank you. Hazem had a question. What would you say are the top skills to becoming a successful entrepreneur?
A good idea. No, a great idea. Don't do something that someone else has done, ever. If it's the same as what, let's say someone started a business and I think it's brilliant what they've done. If I copy it, I'll fail. So the number one is, if the idea is good and you like it and you really want to work on it, think of what is your unique selling point that will make people buy from you and not from them. So number one, the idea. If it's not a new idea, then it's an innovative solution to an existing idea. Number two, to know that you will have to learn many lessons before you succeed. So, you learn lesson after lesson after lesson, and just to know that you have to be tenacious and you have to be continuing. This is something that you want to do. So to continue, not necessarily the effort as much as to continue making this work. And the third one is to know that you'll be spending more than you think you're going to be spending in time. So if you think you're going to be spending 5 hours a day, it's going to be 10. And you have to be ready to take the 10 hours in the beginning. And the 10 hours are not there to make you tired. The 10 hours are there to give you the experience. So later on, you can do 3-4 hours enough. So in the beginning, that learning experience is going to be a lot of hard work until you get it. Once you get it, then you should unfocus, because again, focus brings your brain waves down, and start looking at the bigger picture. But you cannot do that until you have so much experience that it becomes, as we say بالعربي, مثل الماء تفهمها بسرعة. So you have to really be consistent with paying and making an effort.
Next question is from Iyad. At what point did Alnowair shift beyond the realms of standard service? When was the first, in quotations, I've succeeded moment?
So we keep shifting. I don't think we'll ever stop shifting because the world moves. So for us not to be static would be the death of what we do. And we're talking positivity, so be unpositive. So the first step is we shift with how life is working and how things are shifting. So that's the first one. The aha moment, or let's say the moment of yay, got it, is I think 3 years into Nowhere, when everyone was saying we want to be, like everywhere. I started hearing it everywhere. We want to be. We are positive people. We are positive people, and people were getting offended when you tell them you're negative. In the beginning, when we started, when you tell someone you're negative, no, I'm not negative. I am realistic. After 3 years, when you say everyone wants to be positive, and it's like being negative is a swear word. So that was the time I smiled and I said, we did something here.
Miss Laura, our principal, has a question. Do you think there is still stigma surrounding mental health that prevents people from seeking help or knowing how to ask for help?
It depends on the mental health. If it's like sometimes even even I'm still not God يعني خبوط if I think I don't get mental health problems or mental health challenges. I'll call them challenges, not problems. So even sometimes I get into a rut where I have to make an effort to get out of it. But I want to get out of it, and so I will seek support. And the support could be just sitting with my family and saying, I don't feel well. And then they'll tell me, not advice, but they'll say, okay, let's do this, let's play pool, let's do something. And it'll get me out of the place I'm in. So the number one is to seek support, but also in seeking support, not to throw your responsibility on others. So when I'm not feeling well, it's not everyone's responsibility to take care of me. It's my responsibility to seek advice and then work on that advice I'm given. Otherwise, not to seek advice. So I think that's the second thing is we need to know that everyone has a lot of things to do. People have a lot of things to do throughout the day. And when we are always coming to even our friends or our family, I'm not feeling well, which is fine, 1 time, 2 times, 3 times. But if they see that we're always coming to them, I'm not feeling well, I am depressed, and I'm not willing to do anything about it, they'll stop helping me. So number one, yes, do reach for help, but also know you're responsible for changing your behavior. And I'm not going into the really clinically depressed. That's something different. But I say like I'm bored, I'm not happy today, I feel low, I feel down. Someone said something to me and I'm really angry, I'm really upset, I'm crying, someone bullied me, someone hurt me. These are all instances that we can turn around quicker when we know that we can ask for support, but we're also responsible for our action after the support is given. So I hope that answers your question, because I used to be someone who used to support my friends a lot, and then I realized they're depleting me because all they do is come and complain, but they're not willing to change her life. So she'll complain, but she does not want to change one iota of her life. So I just gave up on that friend because she likes that persona of being unhappy. And I am not liking that persona. So we separated. So do ask for help, but also take responsibility for changing the way you act.
Rayan, you can unmute yourself.
Hello, Your Highness. My name is Rayyan Matawa, and my question to you is what would be the first steps to starting a new project?
is to look for, okay, not to look, okay. If you want to start a business project, I wouldn't say go around and look for what, or let me start from the beginning. If you really want to get into a business, look at what you are really good at. What you're really good at, it could be anything. It could be you're a good networker, so start a business with networking. You could be really good with whatever it is. I'm not going to say the businesses that are happening now, but everyone's good at one thing, and they enjoy doing it, whatever that one thing is. And if you take that asset that you have, and you see how you can use that asset in business. So let's say you're very good with IT, or with coding, or you're very good with anything pertaining to online, and you like it. Like my nephews used to be amazing hackers. They took that and they worked in the IT, and they're really good at what they do because that's what they like doing. So don't go into anything with online or IT if you don't even have an email. I'm not saying that you don't, I'm just saying. Don't go into something because, don't open a restaurant if you don't know how to cook, if you don't know how to manage, if you don't know the basics of restaurant running. But if you've been cooking with your mother since you were 10, and you know how to cook, and you know how long it takes to do something, then start a small cooking business at home and then grow. If you are good with brainstorming or creative, and you like doing creative things, then start a home business doing creative things and then grow it. So the best way is to take something you're passionate about, take something that you know a lot about, and see how you can plug it into a business. That is required. Don't do something that everyone else is doing and there's so many people doing it. You'll be paid very little for what you do. Take that strength that you have and use it in a field where there's not a lot of competitors. Therefore, you'll be paid, you'll have a better rate of success than trying to compete with 50 people.
Thank you so much. And thank you everyone for all of your questions. And thank you so much, Sheikha Intisar, for answering and for being here and for talking about your organizations, because it's truly very inspiring. And to put in a nutshell, there are a couple of things that we would like to wrap up. So basically what I wanted to say is never stop learning. You should connect, give back, have a plan, and of course, dare to fail and to succeed. And so thank you all, and we hope to see you soon in another digital webinar of TWI, Those Who Inspire Inspiring Day. Aziz, do you have any closing remarks?
Yeah, so thank you all for attending. This was an amazing seminar. We learned a lot. And I thank you, Your Highness, Sheikha Intisar Al Sabah, for coming here and speaking in front of all these students and teachers. I'm sure everyone has had a wonderful experience here. And yeah, we learned a lot about an entrepreneur's mindset, staying positive, the importance of mental health. And yeah, so good luck all.
Thank you so much, Sheikha Intisar Al Sabah, for this very inspiring talk.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's my pleasure. I really enjoyed it, and thank you again for the opportunity and for the engaging questions and the enthusiasm that was so evident during this hour. God bless all, and thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'd like to thank you. I'd like to thank you all on behalf of everyone, let's say, here at BBS. That was very inspiring, and we really, really enjoyed it. And I hope that the students also got a lot from it. I'd like to thank the Inkwell team and Abdulaziz Al-Bahar and his team for